Well, hello, good morning everybody. Welcome back. Jiujitsu2000 here today. I'm back. I've got my notes with me. I'm here to talk about Alone. I'm here to talk about Season 6, Episode 7, Night Raider. The show is getting really good. So if you haven't seen this episode, please turn this video off. It will contain spoilers. So let's go ahead and get started. The quote on the screen, and I'm looking at my notes here, says, "Come what may, all bad fortune is to be conquered by endurance." And this was a quote by Virgil. Now I don't know who Virgil is, but that's a pretty cool quote. Let's go ahead and get started on day 36. 12:42. There are 6 people left. We are starting with Wyona. I butcher that name every time, so my apologies. I like her, she's cool. She's got a nice wall on her shelter. She decides that she's going to go check for rabbits, and I noticed that there's a trail cam hanging in the tree. There's snow on the ground. And she says that 1 rabbit a week is not enough food, which is so true. This is the point, I think, in the show where things are starting to get really tough, really hard, really difficult. There's an annotation that comes on the screen, and it says, consuming fewer than 1,000 calories daily can lead to gallstones and heart problems. I didn't know that, but that's some interesting information. And she says that she's never went this long without food. She's concerned, you know, she can feel her body losing weight. And so she goes to look for her snares, and she sees that she caught something, but it appears to be that whatever she caught chewed its way out of the snare. It was paracord snare, and the paracord was chewed up. Let's not forget, folks, that it's day 36. They've been out here over a month on minimal calories. Let's move forward to Jordan. 12:34. He's talking about dental sticks. So he had a piece of wood, and he was putting the wood in his mouth to help chew the meat. Now, I've never seen that before. I think that's pretty neat. It was good television, you know, him sharing that with us. He goes to check his food storage, and during this check, he sees some tracks in the snow, which appear to be, from his identification of the tracks, he says that he thinks it's a wolverine. So moving forward to a little bit after 4 o'clock with Michelle. She says that she misses toothpaste and mouthwash, and that she's got bad breath. I like Michelle. She's cool. She's down to earth. 35 degrees Fahrenheit outside. She's checking the snares, and also something escaped her snare. So she's concerned, and she's looking around, and she sees that there's some fox tracks in the area. And she thinks that the fox may have ate her rabbit, but there's no sign of that. She's just kind of guessing. So she continues on to check some of her other snares, and guess what? She sees exactly what she was thinking. The remains of, there's blood in the snow and fox prints everywhere. It's obvious that her intuition, her initial thoughts were correct. And she's frustrated because they are not allowed to trap fox out there at Slave Lake. It's a whole nother set of rules And there was an annotation that came on the screen that said something about fur-bearing animals or something, different rules. They fall under a different category or something to that effect. So moving forward, we are still on day 36. It's a little bit after 10:45 in the night. 6 people left. And Jordan says that he's going to pull an all-nighter. He says, I'm going to get that wolverine. You know, he's up there getting my my meat. And just something off the wall here, folks. I noticed that the headlamps, I know this is crazy. Here I am, the headlight flashlight guy. The headlamp was a Petzl Actic core. I just noticed that. Kind of crazy, right? So he gets out of his shelter because he hears something. And he has a run-in with the wolverine. And it was scary. He's like, oh man, that was nuts. So let's move forward to day 37. A little bit after 10 o'clock in the morning. We're still talking about Jordan. He goes to check his food stash, all that moose meat that he's got, and he's pissed. And I would be too, because his fat is gone. He had over a gallon of moose kidney fat, which can make tallow, which you can jerk meat. When the meat's real dry, you mix that suet or that tallow with jerked meat, and you can make pemmican. You know, this is like long-term survival food. And he also was talking about the importance of fat over meat, because fat gives you that energy where protein doesn't do it as much. And they anticipated or guessed that the amount of fat that was in that 1 gallon container probably was over 35,000 calories worth of fat. So he's pissed. It's snowing outside. I'd be pissed too, you know, because that's a huge blow when you're out here trying to win alone. He says, I'm going to kill that wolverine. I'm going to get him. You know, the fight is on. He's mad. It was very interesting. So let me move forward. 11 o'clock at night. We're on day 37 still talking about Jordan. He's nervous because he knows the reputation that wolverines have. They are fierce animals that will fight to the death. They are like very, very violent animals to mess around with. So he decides that he's going to make a warning system, you know, some tripwires with some cans that'll rattle, so that if that wolverine comes around that meat, he's going to hear it. Which was very smart, you know, and to be thinking smart like that on day 37, that's a huge testament to what Jordan's skill level is. I mean, he's still sharp up here. It's crazy. So he hears this sound. He takes a shot with this bow. It's kind of a dark shot, and it's a little bit off in the distance, but he hits something. You hear a little scuffle going on, and you hear him breathing, and you know, it was a fight. And guess what? He got the wolverine. He killed it with his hatchet like a ninja. This dude is a savage. And I'm like, holy shit. Wow. I am impressed with Jordan. This dude is a stud. Oh my God. Let's move forward. Day 38, 9 o'clock in the morning. We're talking about the W name, Wyona. 6 people left, 9 o'clock. She's talking about when she was a kid, how she would leave for school and her mom would want her to dry her hair before she went to school. So she would always dry her hair. So that's what she's doing. She's in her shelter. She's got her fire going, and she's kind of using the smoke to smoke her hair, to dry her hair. And she said, come get your hair smoked. This could be a new trend in hair, you know, for women and stuff like that. I thought that was cool. I really like her personality. She's super cool. So she decides that she's going to make spring snares, so that they'll hopefully pull whatever they catch up out of the reach of the fox, so that she can get the rabbits out of the reach, which is very smart. And I noticed that while she was doing some of this stuff, she has an orange Mora, looks like a companion knife. Here I am noticing knives and headlamps, right? And she feels good about her snare, her spring snare. This was the first one she did on the show, at least. And so she gonna have some tea. And the temperatures outside are getting cold. Now we're below 30. We're like 28 degrees Fahrenheit. And she's talking about if she wins the show, that she would like to have a family, meaning children, like maybe adopt a child or have one of her own. And the money would help her do that. That she had grown up kind of in a childhood where they didn't have a lot of money. And I don't know if she has a relationship or somebody in her life right now or not. But, you know, the goal of winning the show to have money to be able to bring in another life, you know, whether it's adoption or birth, I think that's a really cool goal of hers. And I think, you know, that just kind of shows where her heart is as a person. And I like her. She's solid. Let's move forward to 6 o'clock, day 38. Michelle, she's losing weight, and she sees the fox. And the fox, you know what the fox is doing? Running her trap lines. That's like Wile E. the Coyote, like rubbing it in, like, look at me, I'm catching all of your, I'm stealing all of your catch. You know, and so she's mad. Rightfully so. I would have been that way too. I'd have been very upset. You know, it's a lot of work. You know, it's day 38. Now she's competing against a fox for her own food. You know, it's just crazy. Let's move forward to day 39. 11 o'clock in the morning, 6 people left, talking about Jordan still. He decides that he's going to build an elevated food cache. Now, he said the name of it. It was a Russian name, Larv or something like that. There was an annotation on the screen, but I was just watching a show, didn't want to pause. But it's an elevated food cache, so he can put his meat way high. And the thing that I learned from him doing that was he was stripping the bark off of the poles, and it said something about, I don't know if he said it or if the annotation on the screen said it, but it was something to the effect that the stripping the bark off of the poles makes it hard for animals to climb the poles because they don't have traction because the bark is there. So the bark comes off and they can't get up there. They can't scurry up them poles. So he puts this thing, and from what I could see, based on his camera angles and stuff like that, it looks like that thing is, I don't know, 12 feet in the air or something. It's up there and it's a platform. It's got a few poles. And he made a ladder with tongue and groove with an axe. I am very impressed with Jordan. His skills are excellent. You know, he built a ladder. This dude's awesome. I'm kind of thinking, you know, like, this dude can win. So let's move forward to day 40. It's 2 o'clock in the morning. We're talking about Barry. He sees a fox. Now it fast forwards to 10 o'clock in the morning. Still on day 40 with Barry. He said he's going to go try to fish, and he made a really nice lure to go fishing with, and he catches this big fish, and he's pulling this fish in, and he's very good about the way he's pulling it in. He's not getting all crazy trying to yank it in. He's being conservative about it. He's pulling the fish in. The fish is fighting, and the fish is like right below his feet. He's standing on a rock, and the fish is right there in the water, and the fish is just going crazy, all frantic, and he's being patient. He's got like a stick trying to help himself bring this fish in, and he loses the fish. Man, that would suck. And of course he says every bad word in the dictionary, which I would have too. I'm not blaming him. I would have said some pretty crazy things. My vocabulary would have definitely expanded at that point as well. Yeah, he's pissed. So let's move forward to day 41, 8:30 in the morning, talking about Nikki. She's having some hare soup, and she's talking about spinal cord spaghetti. And she's eating these little things out of the rabbit spine. She's getting thinner. She's getting low on energy. These are all things that everybody's going through. She sees her eyes. Nikki's got beautiful eyes. She sees these tracks in the snow, and she sees a squirrel. and this is where it gets interesting for Nikki. She shoots the squirrel and gets a gut shot. The animal doesn't die, which happens. And so she goes to dispatch the animal quickly, which I think is very honorable. I think that's, you know, I've always believed as a hunter, you know, if you're going to kill something, try to give the animal the respect and the honor to make it a quick kill. And I get the feeling that Nikki's trying to do that, because she's got this squirrel right between her knees, and she you know, it's squealing and crying and everything, and so all she's thinking right now at this moment is, let's give this squirrel the respect that it's due, and let's put it out of its misery right now. So what does she do? She stretches out the body, breaks the neck or cracks the neck, whatever she does. But during that process, the squirrel grabs her right there, man, and teeth sink in as it dies. Of course, now she has this wound. It's bleeding all over the place, and now she's concerned, because she's like, you know, squirrels are kind of like part of the rodent family, so what do they carry? What am I going to get? You know, it's kind of all these thoughts going through her head, and there's a thing that comes on the screen, and it says one of the couple of things that squirrels do is they'll give you typhus and what was it, ringworm. From those are the infectious diseases or whatever that squirrels carry. So she goes back to her shelter. It's bleeding a lot. She's in a lot of pain. It's right there, and she cleans it and puts a band-aid on it. And she's a tough girl. I hope that it heals quick and that she doesn't get anything bad from it. So let's move forward. This is the last thing in this video. It's day 41, a little after 4 o'clock. We're talking about Barry. He decided to make a scoop net. So it looked like he took the inner strands out of the paracord and made a net, so that when he goes to catch these fish now, he can scoop them out. And I'm impressed. His net looks very nice. He's got a branch bent around. He's got another branch, long pole. It looks, he did a phenomenal job. So he decides he's going to go fishing, and he catches a fish, and he's going to try to use his new net. Does it work? Yes, it does, like a champ. So thumbs up to Barry. Good job. He's happy. It's a big trout. I don't know, 12, 16 inches. I don't know. It's a big looking fish. So he's happy. He's going to eat. And that's the end of the show. That's the end of the episode. So I want to say thank you guys for joining me today on this video of my thoughts on Season 6, Episode 7 of Alone. Please let me know in the comment section down below what your thoughts are. And until next time, thanks for stopping by. I love you all. I hope you have a beautiful day, and we'll see you later. Bye for now.